Alright, in this tutorial I'm just going to show you kind of the anatomy of this design and things to look out for when you're recreating this and repurposing it for other designs that you have. So, first thing we just have a white background there. That doesn't matter because on top of that we just have a solid color fill layer. It's a dark gray color. Make sure when you're recreating this design just to drag this layer on over into your other designs, and either that or just copy this hex code and paste it into a solid color layer in your new document, just so this color stays consistent. And on top of that we have some text here. See, I have the text grouped together just so it's organized nicely. Nothing to do on weekends, question mark. Each word is on its own layer just for flexibility in laying this out. But I decided to choose a gray color just again so for that consistency. So when you're recreating the designs, either I would just recommend just dragging this entire group on over to your other designs and resizing the group as a whole. That way the color stays consistent, this gray color, and you don't have to mess around with opacities or anything. Just drag that group on over. You won't have to worry about it. So then after that we have the After Dark Committee text. Again, that is in a group just right above the Nothing to Do on Weekends. And if we open that group here, you can see we just have the layers, again, each on its own layer. And this here is the is here reflection. These two layers are linked together, so that way if you move one of them, the other one moves with it. So that's another thing to look out for. Oh, and make sure this this layer mask stays linked to the layer, so that way if you move it around, the layer mask won't go anywhere. Okay, so that is that. We can close that group up. The next we have the owl here. This is just the main owl. You don't have to mess around with anything in here. I just added some reflections in the eyes and things like that. A little gradient on the owl, but just close this group up and make sure if you use the owl anywhere else, just drag that entire group on over. And then on top of the owl I have a little gradient going. That's just to darken up the bottom of the design so the text is readable once it shows up. But I just have this black gradient here, and you'll notice I have a layer mask on the gradient. This is what it looks like without the layer mask, and this is with the layer mask. You can see that I just masked out the eyes, so so this gradient doesn't affect the brightness of the eyes, so the eyes really pop out. So that's just a simple black gradient. And then this is where it starts to get a little bit weird. I have this paper texture. Right now I have the blend mode set to divide. If we set it back to normal, you can see it's just a regular paper texture. But make sure that you set the blend mode of this layer to divide. And then all I did was I duplicated that layer. So there's two of the same exact layers set to divide. And that will that second layer just really intensifies the effects right there. Then pretty standard, we just have our SGA logo and the Oliville information. Again, those are just simple text layers. I reduced the opacity of that group to 70% overall. Then on top of that I have the curves adjustment layer just to add more contrast to the whole design, and then that high contrast finishing touch that is in the other tutorial. So that's the basic anatomy of this. Just be careful to preserve kind of the little tricky parts in there, so we keep everything consistent. Sweet.